The District of Columbia's Rental Housing Late Fee Law.
The Rental Housing Late Fee Fairness Amendment Act of 2016, D.C. Law 21-172, took effect on December 8, 2016. Here is what you as a renter in the District of Columbia should know.
Summary of the law. Late fees must be disclosed in the lease. Cannot exceed 5%. Cannot be charged until 5 days after the day rent is due, unless the lease provides a longer grace period. The law also prohibits housing providers from charging the tenant interest on a late fee, imposing a late fee more than one time on the same late payment, evicting a tenant solely because a late fee wasn't paid, and imposing a late fee for the portion of rent that a subsidy provider, rather than the tenant, is responsible for paying to the housing provider.
Can my housing provider charge me a late fee?
Yes, but only if your lease or lease addendum says so.
Late fees and evictions. Housing providers may not file for eviction for non-payment of rent due to unpaid late fees. However, they may file for eviction due to lease violation if tenants make a habit of continuously paying rent late.
My rent is due on the 1st of every month. However, I did not pay until the 5th. May the housing provider charge me a late fee?
No. Your housing provider must wait until at least 5 days after the day the rent is due before charging a late fee. In other words, your housing provider may charge you a late fee as of the 6th of the month when rent is due on the 1st.
I paid my portion of the rent on time. However, I have a housing choice voucher and the subsidy provider paid its portion late or still hasn't paid it at all. May my housing provider charge me a late fee?
No. Your housing provider may only charge you a late fee based on what you are responsible for paying, not any portion that gets paid by your subsidy provider.
My housing provider broke the law on late fees. Is there anything I can do about it?
Yes, you may be able to sue your housing provider in small claims court if the amount is under $10,000 for the amount of any excess late fee or triple that amount if your housing provider acted in bad faith.
If the landlord cannot evict me for unpaid late fees or charge me interest on the late fee, why should I pay late fees at all? Can I just not pay the fees?
If you have an outstanding balance on your account in the form of unpaid late fees when you move out, the balance of those fees may be deducted from your security deposit.
I've lived in my apartment for 20 years, and my 20-year-old lease states that I have until the 10th of every month to pay rent before a late fee is applied. Is this still valid?
Yes. Your current lease, or most recent lease if you now have a month-to-month tenancy, governs. If the lease says you are not assessed a late fee until the 10th of the month, then you are entitled to avoid a late fee until the 10th. If you have questions or concerns about the District of Columbia Rental Housing Late Fee Law, contact the District of Columbia Office of the Tenant Advocate located at 2000 14th Street Northwest, Washington, D.C. 20009. Or you can call 202-719-6560. And you can visit us online at www.ota.dc.gov.